Hey everyone, and welcome to today's Explainer. I am absolutely thrilled to be your guide as we impartially explore a deeply fascinating worldview on destiny, predestination, and human agency. Today, we're drawing directly from Fang's philosophical writings on what's known as the 36-8 trigram arrays. And specifically, we're going to zoom in on a concept called the array of fate. Whether you're someone who leans toward believing in total free will or you think everything is absolute destiny, the framework laid out in these texts offers a highly structured, super thought-provoking way to look at human existence. So let's jump right in.
Okay, let's dive into this. I really want you to take a second and reflect. How much of your life did you actually choose? I mean, think about the massive foundational building blocks of your existence. Did you choose the country you were born in? Did you choose the specific year? Did you pick out your parents? When we actually sit down and separate the things we've actively decided from the circumstances we were literally just handed, well, it's pretty staggering. And this is exactly where the source material begins its inquiry into human destiny. It hooks us right away by pointing out the massive volume of completely unchosen circumstances that frame our everyday lives. The text outlines an incredibly extensive list of predetermined life factors. According to Fang's writings, when we're young, we kind of operate under this illusion that we can steer our entire path through sheer effort, right? But the author suggests that as we get older, that illusion starts to fade. We begin to realize that major factors, ranging from our baseline temperament and inherent talents, to the specific illnesses we endure, our baseline capacity for wealth, and even the exact time and manner of our death, are considered entirely predetermined. According to this worldview, we are often just drifting along a very specific current of fate, rather than swimming entirely under our own power.
Section 1. The Roots of Fate. So if all these major life factors are firmly locked in place right from birth, the natural question becomes, why? Well, the text defines this unchangeable reality as the fate array. The fate array represents the karmic arrangements made by the Tao, and crucially, it's based on each person's past life genetic information. The author essentially describes it as a one-time, comprehensive assessment of all your past merits and misdeeds. So all those things in this life that you absolutely cannot choose, your era, your parents, your inherent health, they are framed objectively here as the direct karmic results of your past actions. It's like a cosmic ledger that has already been balanced before you were even born.
And this brilliantly illustrates the strict temporal and karmic logic at play. It's a continuous, inescapable loop of cause and effect. Step 1 is your past lifetime, which serves as the ultimate cause, all your accumulated merits and misdeeds. Step 2 is your current lifetime, which is strictly the effect, the inescapable fate array you're experiencing right now. But look at Step 3, your future lifetime. This is where the potential lies. The text argues that from the moment of birth, individuals are entirely ensnared in the web of their current fate array. No matter how hard you strive, you cannot change your inherent nature or your origins. But your future is a totally different story.
Which brings us to a highly direct, honestly kind of shocking imperative from the text. Accept your fate. The author states that out of all the 36 arrays mentioned in this broader philosophy, the human fate array is the most intricate and by far the most challenging to break free from. Because it dictates so much from the very beginning, the text takes the firm stance that your current fate is absolutely impossible to change. You just cannot negotiate with the cosmos regarding the hand you've currently been dealt. Therefore, the text argues that any resentment or resistance against your current circumstances is completely futile. In fact, fighting against your current karma only serves to breed further anguish and sorrow. The philosophy suggests that failing to understand this simply leads to a squandered life. If you spend your time constantly raging against the unchangeable facts of your birth and your inherent traits, you just remain stuck in a cycle of suffering. Now, this builds quite a bit of dramatic tension, doesn't it? If we are entirely locked in, what is the point? Well, thankfully, the text doesn't just leave us stranded there.
Section 2. Shaping your next life.
Now, what's really interesting about this contrast is how we pivot away from the strict constraints of the present and turn toward the empowering potential of the future. Notice the stark, black and white difference here. In your current life, you are locked by past karma. You have absolutely zero choice regarding your foundational fate array. However, your next life, that is a blank slate. You have complete free will right now to determine exactly what that next life will look like. According to the text, the fate array for your next incarnation is entirely controlled by your present spiritual cultivation. If you live in confusion now, your next life will just be a repeat of this one, leading to an endless cycle of reincarnation. But if you take control now, you can actually break the cycle.
Breaking free, however, is presented as a monumental task. The text breaks down the requirements into macroscopic and microscopic elements. On a macro level, it requires a fundamental overhaul of your faith, your morality, your deepest ideals, and your entire worldview.
But it doesn't stop at grand philosophies. On a microscopic level, escaping a sorrowful fate array requires vigilant control over every single word, action, thought, and intention. The source makes it exceptionally clear. There are no shortcuts here, and there are absolutely no lucky breaks. It is a grueling, rock-solid, incremental approach across literally every facet of human existence.
Section 3. Cultivating the Soul Garden.
So how exactly does one manage all these elements? Well, to explain this, the text relies heavily on a really beautiful metaphor, cultivating the soul garden. The source outlines specific, incremental steps to move a soul from the flawed human array into a joyful, celestial one. Step 1 involves cultivating a profound reverence for the greatest creator, as well as for all life and nature. Step 2 requires actively repaying any debts from your past lives while simultaneously accumulating spiritual treasures for the future. And Step 3 is the ultimate goal, gradually disengaging from standard human society to completely replace typical human consciousness with what the text calls celestial consciousness. It is a complete, total transformation of the self.
So the crucial point is how you tend to your internal garden every single day. The text argues that the foundation for transforming your consciousness lies in pulling out the emotional weeds. And we're talking about passive, pessimistic emotions here: jealousy, resentment, anger, laziness, selfishness, greed, and arrogance. If you leave these in your mind, they will literally choke out your potential. Instead, you must actively foster and plant the seeds of truth, goodness, beauty, love, faith, sincerity, tranquility, and harmony. This is the daily roll-up-your-sleeves psychological work required to guarantee that your next life's fate array is one of joy rather than sorrow.
You know, the author points out a really interesting paradox here. The simpler something appears, the more complex it actually is, and vice versa. While the theoretical origins of karma and the fate array are incredibly complex, the ultimate solution offered by the text is distilled into this single, definitive command: follow the way of the greatest creator. By aligning every macro belief and micro action with this singular pursuit of reverence and goodness, the complex mathematics of karma simply resolve themselves.
Which leaves us with this final, truly provocative thought to conclude our explanation today. Regardless of your personal metaphysical beliefs, this metaphor of the soul garden is just a powerful tool for self-reflection. I mean, look at your daily habits, your thoughts, and your interactions. Based on the seeds you are planting in your soul garden right now, today, what will your future look like? Are you actively pulling up the weeds of resentment, or are you just letting them take root? It's a profound lens through which to view our daily choices. Thank you so much for joining in to explore this fascinating text. Keep tending to your gardens and keep seeking understanding.